hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Lug Racing. My name is Don. With me, as always, my partner in crime, Ryan. We got something special cooking up for you guys today. I cannot wait to get into it. We've got a special guest joining us and a now partner. It's just truly incredible. I get chills even thinking and talking about it. Ryan, what do we got, bud?
Yeah, absolutely, Don. Man, this is really, really fun to be able to get to do this episode tonight. And I want to jump right into it. Um, big news, Five Lug Racing now has a partner and a sponsor. And, we're sticking within the racing community. So tonight we are going to welcome in our special guest, the owner and operator of KK's Diecast community. Please welcome to Five Lug Racing Show, Kevin Keeling. Kevin, how you doing tonight?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you very much for being here. We really appreciate you. So grateful that you joined the Five Lug Racing family, and I look very, very forward to the fun things we get to do to help further grow and foster the sport we love, right? And that's just that's why we got started in it. I know you share in some of that passion as well. But tonight we really wanted to take some time to introduce the world to you and your diecast community as well. Why don't we get started in that, Kevin? Because obviously we know, if you are, involved and started a diecast community, that you were a race fan first. So why don't you give us a little bit of the backstory, how you got your start into fandom in NASCAR or auto racing?
Okay. Well, first I want to thank you guys again. I'm really excited about this partnership with y'all. It's going to be, we're going to have a lot of fun. So, basically, from age 0, I was a race fan. My dad was a dirt late model racer. He raced for 30 years. So I was literally born into it. And
Incredible.
He retired when I was 18. So my dad, K5 was his dirt number. He raced for 30 years. So, I mean, always at the track, always at the dirt track. We grew up a NASCAR fan, grew up liking Gordon, hating Earnhardt, just like you had to. You couldn't like both, back in the day. So, and then when he passed away, it was like, what do you do now? Who do I hate? It's like you love to hate him, but then when he died, you're like, man, you miss him, So that's how I grew up. My dad, we're from Kentucky, so we knew Jeremy Mayfield. Jeremy Mayfield used to race dirt. He used to go actually watch my dad race when he was
That's
little.
awesome.
And when he was driving for Everham, he would wear, every once in a while, he would wear my dad's dirt shirt under his
How cool is that?
for good luck.
How cool is that?
It was pretty cool. So Jeremy he's a good guy, got a kind of a bad rap on things, but it happens. And then, the Waltrips, they're from Owensboro, grew up watching them. Great family there. And now I'm a Kyle Busch fan. I don't know how that happened, but went on a totally different spectrum there. But went from nice guy Gordon to Kyle Busch. But so we still travel, go to races and stuff, and just this diecast thing just kind of happened by accident. I was getting ready to move, and I decided I was going to sell a little bit of my personal collection, and I sold a few cars, sold them, made a little money. So I was going to buy a few more. And then here we are.
Got you a whole warehouse, man.
So 2.5 years later, this is, over 1,200 members in the community and going strong. So we're going to keep on rolling with it. So
that's incredible. And, I want to get more to that in just a moment, but I want to rewind the tape here a little bit and talk about, I'm from Pennsylvania, Don's from Texas, you're in Kentucky. So, we got like this little Bermuda Triangle of racing going on here between the three of us. And, I want to talk about the racing scene in Kentucky. I mean, is it predominantly dirt that
Yeah,
is it was all around you in your demographic?
yeah,
Um,
yeah. It was all. I mean, pretty much all dirt growing up. The PIR, which is Paducah International Raceway, is still running and operated. It actually used to be Junior Stewart and Kenny Schrader used to be owners of it for a while. So, and then after that, it shut down for a bit. Now it's reopened. I'm actually a sponsor at the track
Awesome.
itself. Um, so
that's
yeah,
great.
it's I do mostly 90% NASCAR, but I do some dirt diecasts when I can get my hands on them as well, because I got people all the time asking for dirt diecasts as well. But they're just
It's
they don't make many of them, and Lionel is actually starting to make some dirt diecasts.
I can't
So
wait because the dirt racing diecast is really neat stuff, and it's just different, and as a person who has collected diecast, I mean it's really cool to when you see your favorite. First of all, my drivers and my fandom came from the dirt rankings as well. I mean, I grew. You say age zero, and my moniker was I was a race fan when I was in diapers, and I'll be one when I'm in them again. Like as long as I can remember, I've always been a racing fan. I came from a Bill Elliott, Dale Earnhardt household. And
yep.
I followed Awesome Bill as a kid through until he retired, and Casey Kane took over his ride, and I knew who Kane was from dirt racing, and I could even say his last name, where others were like, "How was it, Conhay? Yeah, like I was like, no,
Yeah.
no, it's Kane," and but it was one of those deals that it was just like great, and then you started to really start to see the sport of NASCAR kind of give those accolades to those dirt drivers more and more, and now
Yeah.
you see the dirt race car drivers in the Cup Series are the
Oh yeah.
ones that are having a lot of the success. Your Christopher Bells, your Kyle Larsons, Chase Briscoe's from dirt racing, Tyler Reddick. There's just so many of them now, and it's so great to see. As somebody who loves going and watching them tear it up at the dirt track, and it's so fun to watch, and it's so cool that you have that background in your family tree.
Yeah.
um and you said your dad raced until you were 18,
Yeah.
so I mean you got obviously traveling. Did he travel a lot outside of the state, or was it just basically the local
We would
tracks?
go to like Eldora some and stuff. A lot majority, Southern Illinois, Western Kentucky, across the state, up into Knoxville some, and then yeah, we would travel to Eldora every once in a while when we could. My dad, it was a part time thing. It was a hobby. He did it on
Right.
the weekends, but he worked a full time job during the week, so he wasn't a full time racer. But whenever we could go, we would go. So we would be on the road.
Yeah.
But
Well, and to those watching at home who have never raced before, racing's always a hobby until you can make it full time, unless you
yeah,
can't.
yeah,
It's like that's just how it is, and it's an expensive hobby at that. But we love it, and it is, it's in my DNA. It's in yours, and Don grew up at local tracks, and it's just that's it's so fun when you hear those stories. I did not have the local tracks, the upbringing like you two did. My fandom really came from sitting in front of a TV and my dad telling me, "Hey, check these two guys out. The one with the 9 and the one with the 3 on the car. They're good guys." And like that's just how it
good
was.
guys.
Yeah, yeah, like that's.
The
But
three,
I
especially, good guy.
yeah I
Fun to
well
watch. Yes.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, like you said, and the sport, not for nothing, the sport changed in many different ways, safety wise, and just racing wise. When that man left it, and left us too soon. But it just, and that's unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, my grandparents, my mom's parents, they were huge Dale Earnhardt fans. So that's, and my mom's parents were the ones who took my dad to his first race. So but my dad latched on to Bill Elliott, and really that's where that came from. But my mom was an Earnhardt fan. So, but yeah, I want to talk about, we talked about the racing fandom aspect of it a little bit. But now I want to ask you the, almighty question, because I'm a race fan, you're a race fan, Don's a race fan. And those watching obviously are race fans, or maybe will be because of this. But can we explain the importance of diecast to the racing fandom? Kevin, I want to bounce that off of you because I see your backdrop there. It's loaded with diecast, and obviously there is a market for it. And I want to kind of dive into that. And I remember being a kid and getting my first ever diecast race car, 1/64 scale diecast race car, and how excited it was. Like, we, as young boys, I'm sure we all played with like Matchbox and Hot Wheels, right? But when you had a car of your favorite driver with their number on the side, it changed the game as far as a toy. And then eventually, I stopped playing with them and stopped opening them and started collecting them myself. So, like, can you explain the significance of what diecast means to the NASCAR fans or just race fans in general, Kevin?
I personally feel like it's your own little piece of history, especially the race wins or whatever, certain sponsors you collect. I mean, granted, you can get the actual pieces of the cars. Like you can't see it, but I have a nose from Kyle Busch's car right here above me.
Awesome.
But, not everybody has the one, that it was not cheap. A diecast is a lot cheaper. And not everybody has the wall space to be hanging, or their significant other would allow them to hang that on the wall. So you got, you can get the 1/64s or you can get the 1/24s. I've got cases on the wall. It's just your own little piece of, certain sponsors you love, certain drivers to collect. And that's what I think. Your whole own little piece of history, And
I love that way of looking at it. I never really thought of it like as your own little piece of history. I mean, like, I've always said the words, certain cars have like their own sentimental value. Like, there's a reason why you got it, whether it was gifted to you or you went out and sought it out yourself. But I never thought of it as like your own little piece of history yourself. And that's such a cool way of looking at that. And like, I think back to just this weekend, this past weekend, the All-Star race. It's been a long time since my driver has won an All-Star race. Like I said, I was a Casey Kane fan for everybody tuning in. And yes, I am a Seabell fan. So it's like, it's been a very long time. And heck, I mean, Joe Gibbs Racing has only had 3 All-Star wins. It's such a hard race to win, in and of itself. So when you get those opportunities to latch on to a race win diecast, especially, they mean something to you. But your own little piece of history, obviously it means a lot to the driver that, went out and won that race, or the team, or, I've gotten diecast, that, people we know from within the sport, may have worked on that vehicle, and like things of that manner. And it's just your own personal connections to them. So since you asked, or since you said, I should say, I asked the question, but you mentioned your own little piece of history. May I ask you, what is one diecast in your collection that you hold very high sentimental value, or your own piece of history?
Let's call it what the diecast community calls it. What is your grail piece? What grail piece do you?
Yeah.
Actually, I can personally say that I was there for both of Kyle Busch's sweep wins at Bristol.
Wow.
And I have not tracked down the 2010 yet, but I do have the 2017 set autographed. So that's probably my grail piece. I'm still looking for 2010, but they're hard to find, and they're very proud of them. So if you find them, it's about $1,000 to find to get a 2010, and that's not even autographed. So I'd say probably my grail piece is my 2017 Bristol sweep set. Yeah, it's
Wow.
autographed. Well, all
You
three are
know,
autographed. So
so I'm not a fan of Kyle Busch in the sense of the fact that I really collect his diecast.
yeah.
I respect Kyle Busch as a driver, but I'm not somebody that's running out to buy his diecast. So I never really understood his diecast market. And you just dropped a one band tag on that car, or is that for the set?
That's for the set. The
Okay.
2010 sweep set. If you
Wow.
can
And do you have
find
a rough
one for
idea?
less than $1,000, you're doing good right now. So
Do
it's
you have
insane.
an idea how many were produced?
I actually don't know offhand, but yeah, it's just people hold on to them. They don't sell them very often, and if they do, it's
Yeah.
pricey. So like
Wow.
you could
That is
probably find the 2017 for about 500 for the autograph set, but the 2010, I don't think they made as many by any means, and yeah, they're very hard to
So I
find. So
would like to ask, why do you think the 17 set is more affordable than the 2010 set? What would create that large of a price difference for them being the same?
I think it's just because it's mainly because it's he did it again.
Okay.
He'd already done it. That was the
mm,
first
Right.
time. No one's ever done it, and then he did it again, and no one's ever done it since then. So I guess just the first one is just it's more iconic, I'd say. So
Absolutely.
okay. Okay. Now, so let's speak of that for instance, because you talked about a grail piece of yours, and the market for the 2010. We're talking about a band for two pair, for a pair of diecast. Um, so you run an awesome diecast community, and we'll dive into that a little bit as well. But running that diecast community, I'm sure you have things coming across your inbox of pieces of diecast that people are looking for, collectors are looking for. What would
yeah.
you say are some of the most sought after things that are coming across your way quite often as, hey, have you seen this?
Probably I here lately. It's been I've been a lot of people looking for the Earnhardt and Chase Elliott set, the throwback that he did last
Okay.
year at two
Okay.
Junior. That's two-car set they made. I've had a lot of people asking for that one, so I've been able to track a couple of them down. I was able to track one down that's autographed, and then hold on,
Wow. A dual auto, Chase Elliott
yeah,
and Dale Jr.
yeah. Each one was autographed by them. I was able to track one of them down, and I did a race um, on that set, and it filled within
Wow.
30 minutes. You know,
I'm sure.
so and actually, as of right now, I have the set unautographed for sale. If anybody is interested, if
Hey,
anyone
that's
interested,
plug it
the
up, man.
unautographed set
That's perfect.
is so.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that two of NASCAR's most popular drivers in history,
Yeah.
dueled up for sharing a paint scheme. I knew that was going to be huge, and
Oh yeah.
I have to say it was probably my favorite Chase Elliott scheme I've ever seen because and it wasn't his scheme obviously, but I mean the
Yeah.
scheme that he's run because that car just was a really neat uh, looking scheme to begin with. That National Guard 88, obviously he won the Daytona 500 in that scheme, and then they go and run it on an Elliott car. I mean, that's just genius marketing. I don't
Oh,
know. I don't know what happened this year with Chase Elliott's throwback. I know a lot of people didn't really care for it, but
No,
yeah, it's
let's
like
talk about
how you go from that to that. But I
let's
mean,
talk about law of averages. They went from top tier throwback scheme to literally the bottom of the barrel. I've never seen
that
NASCAR
that
fans
scheme
more
was
united than when they unveiled Chase Elliott's throwback this year. I mean, it was
I hate to be like a cliche saying there, but that scheme out of the four schemes was definitely the redheaded stepchild of the paint schemes for sure.
yeah,
Like the other three were on point, like nailed it, and then that one wasn't even close. It looked nothing like what it was
it
supposed
was
to
pretty
be.
bad,
So
man. It
right.
yeah,
Yeah,
So
I think they're gonna have to do they're gonna have to do him some justice next year and get him something a little bit better. It
yeah,
was just that was but yeah. So I want to talk about KK's diecast community. You know that is you know one of the reasons why you're here, and you know you started your diecast community. I now know was in 2022.
yep.
And you said in October, right? It would be 3 years this
3 years in
October.
October
Uh,
since I started the
so
page. Yeah.
that's awesome. Congratulations on that. And
Thank
can we talk about the type of you know? So you started this as a Facebook group for those who don't know. This diecast community is on Facebook, and all the links will be posted on our socials, so you can easily find it. We actually made as we're filming this episode tonight, we posted the partnership on both pages tonight. So you know,
Yep.
hopefully we'll get a lot of cross traffic there. But for those who don't know and are coming in blind, KK Diecast community is a Facebook community, and it's a Facebook group. And I do believe you have well over 2,000 followers. So you're growing. And can we talk about you know when you created this you know group to you know how you got to here now? Um, you know, I've seen a lot of Facebook groups, and as far as diecast is concerned, and a little backstory, Don and I met because of NASCAR diecast. You know that's how me and him met. You know, then we were like, it was like that Step Brothers movie moment. It's like, did we just become best friends? Yep.
Yep.
You want to go do karate in the garage? Yep.
Yep.
And you know, here we are. So it's just like, and then we meet you through diecast, and it's just you know it's the 9 degrees of diecast, right? It's unreal how that type of community or the NASCAR community as a whole can really come together over things like memorabilia and diecast, and then but I'm sure you've met a lot of cool people throughout the you know the years that you've been doing this off of diecast. But can you talk about how you started um, to really how you built your page to be now? And obviously you don't have to give us all 3 years worth of it, but you know just kind of a cliff notes version of like how it began for you to what you're doing now on a weekly to daily basis. What your community's like.
Honestly, when I started it, I had no clue what I was going to do with it. You know, it was just a thought. I'll start this, see what it does, and you know, I was going to just sell some stuff on there. You know, try to get some traffic. And now, I mean, we're doing live auctions. We're doing sales, silent auctions. We're doing our races. You know, online races. People have really loved those. We're doing card breaks. Me and my admin, Chris Berry, we both do card breaks. I actually broke a 2024 case of National Treasures last night. Pulled 2 1-of-1s out of that. So it was a fun.
That
It
is
was a full. It was a
incredible.
fun break.
Wait, did you say a full
Yeah,
case? A full
of
case
National
break?
Treasures. Yeah.
How Okay, so I'm a sports card collector. And you know, yeah, another hobby I was in as a kid. Mainly football was my sport that I collected as far as cards, but I do have some NASCAR cards. How many? I'm familiar, and I'm not sure if Panini kept it the same. For those of you who don't know, National Treasures is made by a company called
Yeah.
Panini.
Oh yeah.
You've probably seen it on a race car if you're a NASCAR fan. They do sponsor in the sport, but so how many? Um, Boxes and you know your cigar
Yeah.
boxes really of national treasures come in a case for
4.
NASCAR.
It's 4 per
Okay,
case,
okay.
and then each
And you got 2 1-of-1s out of
yeah.
4 boxes. That's
Yeah.
incredible,
Each
man.
one normally has 3
Incredible.
white sparkles, and then 3 to 4 autos, 3 to 4 mems, and then 2 what we call base cards. They're numbered, but it's just like the picture on them or whatever. And yeah, I
Sure.
pulled a 1-of-1 dual mem. It was Seabell and Gibbs. Yeah.
Oh,
So what
oh
sucked
man.
is I pulled it. 2 different people. One person had Gibbs. One person had seabell, so I had to do a duck race.
Yeah.
And one person, sorry, you know, I
Misses
mean,
out.
like,
I
and
know.
only one person can have it. I can't cut the thing in half. So,
Right.
No, that's how it
and then
is. That's how it is
my
sometimes.
very first card, very first thing I opened was a Andres Perez de Lara White Sparkle 101. Very first card I pulled out of the very first White Sparkle pack. So the rookie spot was pretty happy right off the bat. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was fun break. We had pulled a lot of good stuff. I got a Gordon auto, nice 2023 Blaney Championship auto. There was some good stuff in there, so it was a lot of fun.
What
And
do
if
you
everybody wants to check it out on the page, I've got all pictures of all the hits from last night. So yeah.
what
Oh, I'm gonna be heading over there to check it out. That's awesome, man. Silly me not even realizing that you're doing a lot of sports carts too. I mean, that's what it is, man. I mean, like you're not just diecast, you are a community and you do a little of
Yeah.
everything, and that's really fun. And that's one of the things I love about your page.
And also during the regular season, I do a weekly type giveaway. So basically, I do is 50 people. First 50 to comment when I post gets in the race, and then each week it goes up like 1 people, 2 people, 3 people, and basically the 50 people will go through the race, and how many ever we pick that week, the top 3 will move on and they'll get a driver. So the drivers will then do a race. So the top 3 drivers will get attached to those people, and if that driver wins, they get a free diecast like that.
Nice.
So, and if
See,
nobody wins, then we add an extra person. We add an extra person the next week until somebody finally wins. Then we start back at 1. So
See, that's awesome. So not only are you, running such an awesome, well-oiled machine of diecast community, diecast group, but you're giving back, to your followers and to the NASCAR community, and that's awesome. And that's just one of the other reasons that we're so glad to have you as a partner because you
yeah,
get it,
yeah,
that's what it's all about. That's how you grow the sport. That's how you grow the fandom. That's, and that's how you make customers for life too, as a businessman.
yeah.
That's some awesome stuff. So hats off to you for doing that. Um, you know, the one thing that, we talked about when we were onboarding this partnership and something I'm really looking forward to doing. And let's spill the beans on it right now. We're going to do the diecast of the week. And so the way that we talked about doing this is we are going to, and by we collectively, Five Lug Racing and KK's diecast community, we're going to post a graphic that will be shared on both pages. Showing you, the fans, the listeners, the community members, the chosen diecast of that week, where we're going to you're deciding that you're going to do it in a silent auction
Yep.
style. Is
Starting
that
at
correct?
$1.
Okay. So, do you want to go ahead and let them know what what the first one's going to be? I did the graphic for it. I'm really stoked. But you want to go ahead and let them know,
Yeah.
Kevin, or you want to keep it a surprise? It's up
No,
to
you let them
you.
know. I just got this one in this week. It is the new Reddick Air Jordan. There it is. Hey, Don's got one. That one right there.
Yes, he
That's
does.
going to be our first
Yes.
diecast of the week. And what's funny is I actually seen that paint scheme in person. So, and it is
That
as
was
that's
cool.
so close to winning.
It cool as it looks on the diecast. It is amazing paint scheme. So so I'm excited to roll that one out as our first one. I literally just got it in 2 days ago. So
Awesome.
so
hot,
that's we're gonna start
hot
that
and
at $1.
fresh and ready for $1. It's
$5.
insane. So, so so just so we could explain for everybody listening, watching, It's just increase in dollar increments,
Yes,
and
dollar increments.
when it ends,
it'll be a flat shipping fee if you win. Normally, I just do flat $12 anywhere all over the U.S. So highest bidder, we're gonna put it up. Did we agree tomorrow? Is that the plan? We're gonna put it up tomorrow.
So when this episode is airing, yes, it will be tomorrow. so yeah, we're gonna get this diecast of the week out there. We'll put the graphic out there, and we'll have it out there for an entire week. And then you'll get a new one as far as the community watching every Monday. You'll see a fresh new diecast of the week every Monday, for everybody to get their eyes on. And you could win a diecast. We all know that these diecasts cost money. Unfortunately, that's just everything costs money, and the price can go up. But sometimes you can get a snag on winning a silent auction like this, or going into the races like you explained, or Don, I know you've partaken in races for diecast, and you've won some really neat autographed diecast for like $5. Like that would way cost a lot more than that. It's just a matter of how much you, the listener, or the person that is putting in on a race, for instance, how much you want to spend. I mean, you could put $1 in, you could put $5 in, whatever it is. It's, if your number's called, your number's called, which is a beautiful thing.
And I chalk it up to an entertainment thing. It's a lot of fun. It's cool interacting with everybody that's trying to win a diecast. Sometimes there are multiple diecasts available for you to choose from, and it's cool to see everybody's hunting a different diecast, right? Everybody's got one that they're looking for. The very first one I did, I got my first diecast in 2023. Even though I've been a racing fan my entire life, I didn't get my first one until 2023. It was actually May 2023. So I'm on my 2-year mark now. Now I'm up to about 50. So it's been absolutely crazy. The first one I ever won in one of the races that Kevin's talking about was Ross Chastain's Martinsville Wall Ride, the Hail Mail-In. And that is not, like Ryan was saying, that's not a cheap diecast to come by anymore. But I got it for $5, and it was so crazy. And Ross is one of my guys. So,
I actually got the helmet. I got an autographed helmet.
That is awesome.
For sale, if anybody's interested.
Yeah.
Of that helmet, the replica of it. So.
Awesome.
We talk about, Don, you just mentioned the multiple diecast to choose from in these races, and Kevin, I was on your page today and I seen a bunch, and just you could see the supply behind the man. You get on his page and check it out, because if you go into some of these races, it's not just one car that you're aiming for. You can get your choice, and that the way you set it up, you just have a plethora of inventory. And it's ever evolving. I mean, you're getting stuff in every week, right?
And you can ask any of my members. I pride myself on variety. If you get in my race and you win and you can't find something you like or need, you're crazy. That's all I'm gonna say. I've got variety out the wazoo, as for everybody. I try to mix it up and have all kinds of different stuff, so people can find what they like. Not everybody likes the same driver. Everybody. That's what we like. The variety. Everybody likes their own driver, their own style. Certain people collect special finishes. Certain people only collect race wins. I have some members that collect the race wins. They have a driver they like, but they also collect the race wins from when they're there in person,
right? From
the tracks they go to. If they're there, and that whoever wins, they track down that race win. I mean, people's got their own style, their own flair with it, and that's what we're all about. So.
Yeah, and I think that's one of my favorite things about this community that we've been in, is the fact that there are so many different ways to collect. It's not just, we're just randomly, aimlessly collecting, diecast. People have a set reason and purpose for every one that they bring into their collection. I think that's really special.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. And so Kevin, I know we're cutting it close, and we would thank you so much for coming on here tonight. And again, everybody who has not had a chance to do so, you're going to click the link in the bio after this, and you're going to go join his community and check it out. But one last question for you. Obviously, you're a growing community, and you started from just a couple diecasts to now having walls of diecast behind you. Where do you see yourself in the next couple years with KK's diecast community? What are your goals in motorsports? Because one of the things that I truly loved when we started talking about doing this is the fact, and I want to share this with people so you could speak on it a little bit, is the fact that you have not just invested with us, you're invested in growing your brand and growing it within the sport of auto racing, so much so that you've been on race cars in this year. So that's got to all mean something to you and tie into something, and there's a purpose behind why you're doing it. So can you shine a little bit of light on that experience and where you see this going for you in the next couple years?
Yeah. I had the opportunity, which like I said, I told you that I partnered with the local dirt track. I'm also a few local drivers, and some in Charlotte, some in Virginia, dirt guys. I love dirt racing. That's my heart, from growing up. But then, I had the opportunity to partner with SS Greenlight Racing this year, and I sponsored them, their Xfinity team, the 07 car and the 14 car. Bobby Dotter, I don't know if you guys remember Bobby Dotter. That is the
Absolutely.
owner of SS Greenlight. Super nice guy, very easy to talk to. I mean, just being around the guy, he's just super, super chill guy. So that sold me on them. And I had the opportunity at Daytona. So we did Daytona with Patrick Emmerling. He got a top 10 finish, was pretty awesome. Split the middle on that last wreck and got him a top 10. And then, then we did Las Vegas. That was a lot of fun. He had a little bit of trouble on pit road, had a loose wheel, so didn't get the greatest finish there. And then we're getting ready to do Nashville. I'm gonna be on the 14 car, the partner car at Nashville. I can't say who the driver is yet. It's not been announced, but it's not who has been in it. I'll just say that much. So I will be on the 14 car at Nashville, which is 2 hours for me. So I'm excited to get down there. And then we're doing Chicago Street Race, which Chicago Street Race was my first sponsorship last year. I was on Jeremy Clemence's car last year at the Chicago Street Race. So we're going back again, and we're going to be on the 07 again. We're going to be with Alex LeBay at Chicago.
Okay,
and
great.
Then, of course, going to be doing Bristol Night Race. So I'm not sure yet if we're going to be on 07 or the 14. Still working out the details on that. And then I've got one more to choose. I'm leaning either Martinsville or the Kansas Fall Race. I haven't decided which one yet. Still in the air, but the other ones are locked in as of now. So it's been great. The team's super nice. They treat you like one of your own, and I think that's what's great about the smaller teams is you feel a little more appreciated because I'm a nobody. I'm just on the corner panel. I'm not a big corporate sponsor. I'm not Home Depot, Lowe's, all these sponsors. So it's nice. It's been great. They've been very very accommodating, very easy to work with. As of now, nothing for 2026 lined up, but it's been fun so far, and I'm looking forward to doing the next few races with them, seeing where it goes. But really excited about the partnership with you guys. I think it's gonna lead to something great. I'm excited about the future. Not only this year, maybe we'll see what we can do after this year. So we'll get there, but take one thing at a time.
Right
and as
on.
far as the growth, I don't know. Sky's the limit. I'd love to quit my job and do this full time, but we're nowhere near doing that. So, but that would be the dream. To do this to be traveling at the track, to be doing all that stuff, and to grow it. I'd love to be as big as Circle B one day. So obviously can't be running out of my basement. Gonna need a little more space if I'm
gonna need
gonna
a
get
bigger
that big.
basement.
But
Yeah.
that would be the probably I'd say 10-year goal would be to be as big as them. But I don't know. I'm just enjoying it right now.
Hey.
So
I have to highlight something that you said because this is the most important aspect to myself. I know Ryan shares the same exact feeling. You said the word fun, Kevin, and ever since Ryan and I have started this last July, we have had so much fun growing and just getting to know so many different people, so many different aspects and different fans of different drivers, and just learning about people, establishing ourselves in the racing community. It's a process that you have obviously done very well for yourself and everything you've done and accomplished already. But that key word, man, fun. If you're not having fun, what's the point, right?
exactly.
So that right there, that screams volumes to me, and I'm looking forward to having a lot of fun with you, bud.
Yeah, and I got great members
Absolutely.
and a lot of great people, and it's just fun talking to them and getting their perspectives on everything, and it's that's why community's in the name. That's why I put community in the name, because that's what I want it to be. I want us to be able to come together, talk about racing, because we all love it. We wouldn't be into it if we didn't love it.
Right.
And that's the best part.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Kevin, thank you so much for taking time out of your evening
Absolutely.
to come chat with us tonight and let the world know who you are. And again, you're going to go check out KK Diecast community on Facebook. The links will be on our bios, our socials, and it's all over the place. So please go there and do that for him and for us. And go get yourself a cool new piece for the collection. But again, Kevin, thank you so much for your time this evening. And again, like Don said, we're looking so much forward to, having fun, with this partnership.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it so much. Have a great night.
You too, Kevin.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, I'm gonna repeat it because it's important to me. I found something in my life for the first time in a long time, something fun, something I look forward to coming and doing after my 9 to 5. Right, I get to hang out with racing buddies. I have made a lifelong friend in you, Ryan, that I will forever be grateful for, and it kind of stuff
Likewise.
is priceless. It's irreplaceable. And it all happened because we jumped on a Diecast page together. I'm hoping for the exact same type of experience here with Kevin, and I have no doubt that's what we're going to experience. But man, just an amazing guy. I'm so glad we got to get to know him, and all of our fans got to get to know him a little bit more. A lot of times sponsors don't really, collaborate in the way that we've represented this. But I'm glad we were able to do this. I think it's important to know the people that you're supporting. So again, thank you to Kevin for hanging out with us. Ryan, you got anything else for me, bud?
No, I mean that was just well said, Don. And yeah, it's so great. And to think that Diecast started Five Lug Racing, and Diecast is what started this partnership with KK's Diecast community. Yeah, it's just that's what NASCAR racing is all about, and the racing community really is. And there is just a lot of people that really just want to talk racing and have fun, and that's what we're trying to do. But we're also trying to grow that fan base and keep it building for generations to come. But yeah, and thanks again to Kevin. Thanks again to you, Don. And yeah, I look forward to a fun partnership with them.
Absolutely, sir. And everybody that joined us, make sure you're smashing that like, that subscribe, all the new links that are going to be included across our social medias. We're talking Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all the way across the board. Go give Kevin and his community a like, a follow, support that page just like you support us, the way we appreciate the way you support us. And like always, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Y'all have a great night.